first episode of the Leathercraft Business Builders. And in here, we're going to be talking about 3 things to consider when you're starting your leathercraft business. Now, some of you may already have a business. Some of you may just be thinking about it. But I hope that we're going to kind of stir up some questions, because better questions get better answers. So I appreciate you guys all being on here. Again, let me know where you're coming from, and have your questions in mind as well. I'm gonna pull this over here. I have a few things happening here because I want to be able to get up. Because better questions get better answers. So there we go. You guys all being. There we go. We'll get our volume taken care of. This is our first business builder, so I'm making sure we figure out all of our comments and stuff so I can keep up with them. There's going to be a live Q&A at the end here, and there's a free giveaway in that too. So if you're not subscribed yet, be sure and subscribe, because we're going to have several episodes kind of building on each other here. And we're going to cover all aspects of a leathercraft business. Now, I'm not giving you professional advice as far as accounting or any attorney advice or anything like that. So be sure and do your own checking on things like that. But I want to share with you from my experience of building my business and having gone through a full custom shop, to stock inventory orders, a storefront, a non-storefront, just a workshop with no storefront, sharing storefront with people, having vendor booths, to online sales, kind of a wide variety of things. And I've learned a lot along the way. And so hopefully I can pass some of that on, answer some of the questions you have, and help kind of fast track your guys' business as you're getting going. So the number one thing, when we talk about 3 things to consider when starting this business, the first question I'm going to have for you is, why are you starting the business? Or why do you have the business if you already have one? And starting with why is a huge thing. A great book actually called Starting with Why by Simon Sinek. If you haven't checked that out, do that. But we really need to focus on what the goal is with this. And knowing why you're doing it is going to help you answer every question we ask along the way, and kind of help push your guidelines to your business, right? So if we know the why, then we can steer everything else back. It's kind of like having that mission statement, and knowing that if there's something that comes up, or a decision, an opportunity, an order, all sorts of different things, you have something to go back to and say, does this match my why? Does this build towards the overall goal that I have? So a few things that I hear when we talk about why you're starting a leathercraft business. One, is it just for money? Is it for some quick cash? I got started, when I started my business, I first started into leathercraft because I wanted some nice stuff for myself. And so I wanted to learn how to make those. And then I figured out other people wanted some stuff too, and they would pay me for it. I'm like, hey, well, that's a pretty good way to make a little money, right? And if it's just for quick cash, then that's gonna have some variance on things down the road when we start looking more in depth. But there, you'll make different decisions when you're looking at it just for the money standpoint. And what I've found is money is a byproduct of other things. So to go at it just as, hey, what money are we going to get? How much can I make? That might not be the best approach. I think we need to look at a few more aspects of it and let the money be the byproduct. Because if you can focus in on some other things that we're going to get to, you'll find that money side is going to grow a lot more rapidly for you, and be more long-term as well, not just kind of a flash in the pan thing. I know I've seen a lot of people, with the custom leather business, the custom leather companies that are in business and out of business, and they don't use up more than 1 or 2 calendars. So let's look for things long term and to have a little bit of depth and longevity to it. Freedom of schedule is another thing. That's a very legitimate reason to want to start a leathercraft business. I have the shop here. I can come out and work anytime I want. This shop I'm sitting in right here is not a storefront shop. This shop here is at my house. I can be out here at 4:30 in the morning and drinking coffee and getting started for the day. I can stop and go have breakfast or lunch with my family. I can run my son to school, do anything like that. If I want to take off for a day and go do something else or needed to help somebody out, it's great to have that freedom of schedule. If I'm getting down to a deadline and I need to work through the middle of the night, I can do that. There's nobody answering to, or telling me, dictating what that schedule has to be. So freedom of schedule is a great why as well. It's a good aspect of it, but we're trying to figure out what is the driving force of why you're doing this business. Another reason of why is an opportunity to be creative. Is that the key to it? Is it an outlet for creativity that you can get paid for? So we really need to narrow down on what that why is. And that's gonna help just make that guideline to where all of our other decisions filter back to that why. All right, if you guys are finding any value in this, please hit that like button. That is gonna help YouTube know that I'm putting out quality content. And so that's all I'm asking. I'm not charging for any of this. This entire series is going to be free. I love helping you guys out. But if you find any value along the way or like any one of these points, just hit that like button and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the further episodes when we come along. I really appreciate that. Okay. Number two, the second thing to consider when you're talking about your leathercraft business, what clientele do you want to serve? And honestly, that's a question I didn't think about at first. And there's a lot of this stuff I didn't think about at first. And getting these ideas rolling and getting clear about what you're doing is going to help really fast track things and avoid a lot of the side tracks and pitfalls that you can go on when you're not clear on your objectives. So who is your ideal client? That's a great thing to consider. And is it just, hey, somebody with money that wants to buy my stuff? That's a lot of the answers you get a lot of times. But is there a certain demographic that you want to serve? Is it rodeo people? Hey, I want to build stuff for rodeo competitors. I want to be in the cutting horse industry. I want to serve there's all sorts of niche industries you can get into. Firefighters. Do you want to serve welders? Do you want to serve only equestrian people? Do you do like the steampunk stuff and have a niche there? Do you do reenactment medieval armor? There's so many different niches and clienteles that you can get into, but really ask yourself, who is your ideal client? Is it men? Is it women? Is it women shopping for men? Those are all things to consider, and it's fine to not have that narrowed down right away. But it's things to consider. What does that client want and or need? Is your ideal client somebody who wants super high quality, well-made items? Is your client somebody who wants something to be customized, like they just want that one-of-a-kind item? Is it somebody who is a now shopper? They want good quality stuff, but they want it now. They don't want to wait for the custom. Who is that ideal client? And that's going to be another thing that helps build and guide some of these other decisions that we're going to make along the way. So all these questions, when we talk about these 3 things to consider, they're really broad questions right now to get you started with. And my idea behind this series is that we're going to move along and really dive deep and specific on lots of different things. We can get super deep and narrow on all the different aspects of it. You know, targeting clientele, marketing. We can do a whole full episode on marketing. You know, pricing our goods. Lots of different things. Outsourcing leather and tools and equipment. Where do we source things at? How do you go about that? How do you get wholesale accounts and things like that? So we can really narrow down in a lot of episodes, but this first one here, I'm wanting to give you a big, kind of a broad sense of what we're doing, and start getting your motor running. And because even if you've had a business for a few years, there's a good chance you haven't really narrowed down on what you're doing, who you're serving, why you're serving them. Why do you have this business? So as you're thinking these things through, I encourage you to take some time here now over this next week or so and put pen to paper, because we can think it through, but it really helps when you put pen to paper. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy or official. I have some notebooks sitting around here. My closest one has actually got a few notes on it right below you here, but there's just lined notebook paper. And those notepads, I like having a couple sitting around here handy, because then when ideas come or questions come up, I can just sit and jot something down. And putting that pen to paper really does make a difference. Even if it's something that's not organized, not well laid out, being able to go back, if you're thinking about something, jot it down. You can go back at the end of the day and just kind of glance over what all your different random thoughts. I know especially when you're working in the leather shop, you can be sitting there beveling all day long, beveling, and it's so much great time to think on stuff. Once you get in a rhythm on doing some of the different craft things that we're doing, right? Some of the repetitiveness of that along the way, there's so much great time to think. And so when you get those good ideas, jot them down. So as we're going through these questions, write these questions down, and we'll recap these 3 questions at the end. But really think about these this week and start narrowing down the answers to these and getting a clear picture on what you're doing and where we're going with this. So then as we build into these episodes, you have that to go back to. Okay. Appreciate you guys being on. Hang with me till the end. We're going to do a live Q&A here at the end, so have your questions in mind, and we're going to do a giveaway. So one of what we're giving away here, I have a 23 plus shirt. This is a t-shirt. This is such an awesome shirt. This is from S&D Design Co. And they're high quality apparel items. But I'm going to give this away to somebody during the live Q&A. So if you're watching this on the replay, I'm sorry. You're going to have to jump back on when we're live again, because we're going to do some more of these giveaways. But S&D Design Co., if you miss out on this and you're not the winner, but you would like one of these or want to see some of the other great items, there's a full line of 23 plus things, which is all of our specialty patterns, as well as some other great designs from S&D. She just dropped 4 new products out this month. There's a link down in the description to go over on there. There's also a promo code on that, a discount code. If you just use 23 and the plus sign, 23 plus, which is my business, use that for your discount code and you can save 10% off anything on their site. So snddesignco.com, that link's into the description. We're going to give this away here at the end for that Q&A. So have your questions ready. Number 3, getting down to the third thing to consider when you're starting or building your leathercraft business is, what items do you want to carry? Do you want to carry custom items or stock inventory items, a mix of both? That's a huge question. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. And this topic here, I feel, is one that we're going to wind up going into a lot more in depth in another episode. But I'm trying to not to go on too big of a tangent here, but I can really get in on this one because I've gone to both sides of the spectrum on this. And there's pros and cons to both doing the full custom orders as well as doing the inventory items. The full custom orders is nice because it's ordered, you're getting paid for an item, you know you're getting paid for that. There's a question of, do we just take on anything, or is it product selection where there's a very narrow path on what it is that we're gonna build? You know, am I gonna specialize in something? Now, starting out, taking on lots of different things can be a great learning tool, great learning experience. It's good to try a variety of projects because you're gonna learn different aspects from all the different projects. There's different construction methods to building different things, and you're gonna learn through some mistakes along the way too, but all the different things you learn is gonna help build your finishing skills to a nice finished product. So whatever you decide to narrow in on, which we're gonna talk about that in just a second, about narrowing in on a product line, but whatever you decide to narrow in on, you'll have lots of different skills to pull from to really help round you out as a craftsman in that line that you go to. Now, if you're just like really fresh getting started and need a place to kind of learn to get some of those different projects, because what can be intimidating too is taking on orders for different things that you don't know how to build them, but you know, cousin Bob ordered one, so you're going to go ahead and build one for him, or your coworker over here, they wanted something this, yeah, sure, I'll build that, because you'll say yes to anything when you're starting out because you want your orders so bad, like I'll take any orders on. But then you find you're a little stuck because you don't know how to build it. You know, you can stumble through and learn through a lot of things, make some mistakes. But if you do want to walk through some projects with guidance, I do offer a class. There's a link to that in the description as well. The Leather Life Classroom, it's a live, or it's not live, excuse me. We're live here, that's not live. It's an online class that there's a new project posted each month. It's subscription based, and I walk you through from start to finish on each different project, and there's videos along the way, and there's downloadable tooling patterns, any of the construction patterns that are downloadable, those are all included in there. And those projects stay up for 3 months in there. As long as your subscription's up to date, they stay up for 3 months, and each month there's a new project being put in there. So you can walk through a new project every month and learn exactly how to build that project. So if you're not getting a ton of orders but looking to build that skill and need a place to do that, there's going to be a great resource for you. Again, the Leather Life Classroom, the link to it is in the description there. But that can be a way to start building up some of those inventory items where you go through, you get instruction, you walk through and build this item. The January project up right now is a Bible cover. You go through, build that, then hey, now we can post this. Hey, I got this for sale. Each month there's going to be a new project, and that's something you could potentially build and sell for an inventory project to get you going. And that's part of like taking the custom orders too, is being able to just learn as you go, build and learn. And you know, hey, can I get a bifold wallet? Sure, I don't know, I've never built one, but we'll figure it out. And you're going to make your liner too big and the first time, and it won't fold, and it'll be all wrinkled. and you have to tear it apart and build it again, but you'll learn how to do that as you go, or follow along with something else, and you'll learn without the mistakes, hopefully. But either way, you learn with every project. So there's something to be said for doing those custom orders. Now, it's a catch-22 on that, right? It's kind of, you got to weigh the scales, because you're learning as you go. When we can get into this, it dives into pricing too. Well, how much do I charge? Well, what's it worth? What's your skill level? And we'll get there. We're going to do a full episode on pricing. That's going to be a big one. But you'll find that as you're learning, you're gonna look back at your early projects and be like, oh man, I can't believe I charged for that. I know I've had that experience. I look back, I have a really good friend of mine that has one of my very early on belts, and we were visiting a while back, and she pulled that out and showed me. I was so embarrassed. I said, you've got to put that away and never tell anybody I ever made that for you. But that's just how we progress along the way, right? Your work's going to improve as you go. And so you may not want to start by stacking up a ton of inventory when you start. If you're doing inventory items, you can build a few items, but then as those sell and as you're building your skills, then your items are going to get better and better too. So there's going to be kind of a stair step as you go along with this business. And that's where a lot of these factors come together, right? And that's why I said off the beginning, why are you starting this business? Is it for quick money? If it's for quick money, it's not going to be long lasting. It just really isn't, because you're going to wind up charging too much too soon for products that you're not qualified to build yet, and you're going to lose your clientele over it. So when you're after it just for the money, it doesn't seem to last. But when you really dive in and look at who do I want that client to be, and now how can I serve them best? Now, you're going to charge for your products, right? And again, that pricing video, we'll get into lots of that, and we'll talk about kind of different aspects of that. And especially even with people, they come to you, most times your first market is going to be your warm market. It's going to be your friends, your family, your coworkers, that sort of thing. And they're going to be understanding that you're just starting. And most people, until you dive in and start understanding leatherwork, there's a lot of mistakes that are going to go completely unnoticed by 85% of your clientele. And they're going to be very forgiving in that, because they might not know. They'll look at something and, hey, this is good, better, best, not good. I mean, that's kind of their judging on that stuff. So as you learn, you're going to build that up. But if you can think about how you can serve them best, when you're running a leathercraft business, you're not simply selling leather items. Think about it. If we were simply selling leather items, it would be a pretty tough deal, right? Because there's leather items everywhere. You can go down to Walmart and get some stuff. They stamp genuine leather in it. It's not 100% leather. There's lots of things like that. But the thing is somebody doesn't come to you just because they want to hold their pants up. They want a custom belt, and they're wanting either something customized that they can't get anywhere else, or they're wanting quality that's not going to fall apart like something else will, or they're coming to support you as a small business owner. There's that as well. But no matter whether it's a belt, a pair of chaps, a purse, a wallet, a notepad cover, a shave kit, a rifle sling, a leather coat, whatever the thing is that you're building and selling, you're not just selling the product, okay? You're selling customer service, so you're selling an experience. And you're selling reliability. You're selling honesty. You're selling a full package. And the biggest downfall I see, and the primary thing I see that causes most leather businesses to fail, is not because they didn't build a good product, or not because they didn't know how to do the artistic side of it. It's because they lacked on their customer service. Customer service is probably the biggest thing I've seen people fail from. There's other business aspects of it, bookkeeping, tracking your orders, lots of things like that. But do what you say you're going to do. If you take an order, build an order, produce an order, ship an order. Do it when you say you're going to do it. Under promise and over deliver has been a key in my business from the get-go. And anytime I've failed to under promise and over deliver, it's cost me. But every time that I can under promise and over deliver, it wins repeat customers. It wins trickle down orders. So trickle down orders are huge too. Oh my gosh, I can go on so many tangents. We can do a whole nother episode on that as well. But trickle down orders means you sold this shave kit to Sally. She gave it to her husband Bob. Bob told his friend Larry. Larry, like the good experience that you sell, meaning your product, your customer experience, your reliability, how on time you are with things, all of that is going to trickle down and spread like wildfire. Word of mouth is the best advertisement. There is no doubt about it. And it's been that way for a lot of years. Now, word of mouth itself has changed, especially in 2020, right? Word of mouth has changed, all the social distancing and whatnot. But all the social media stuff, yeah, it's on the internet, it's on the computer, but that's word of mouth. And that spreads even more than face-to-face does. And so it can be huge for your business. So serving your client best, how can you serve them? And as we narrow down and take different avenues on the business, that answer can vary a lot. But understanding who your ideal client is and what they need and want is going to help you serve them best. And that's where it can be hard when you're getting started out. You feel like, man, I don't want to narrow it down. I don't want to miss out on anybody. I want to sell to everybody. Everybody's my client. Well, that's just not the case. We're not going to make everybody happy. And if you try to, you'll make nobody happy. So really, really getting specific and narrowing down. I promise you, this industry has so much room for success, and so many makers can get into this and be hugely successful. But you've got to not be in a hurry. It's about the long game. This quick, I want to make money fast, doesn't work out very long. So do you want to make a fast living or a substantial living, right? Be patient and put in the groundwork that's going to help build a strong foundation. You go to build a house and skip over the foundation part of it, it's not going to last real long, right? So build that sturdy foundation in your business as well. And these 3 key questions are going to really start helping you take this broad idea of I'm going to have a leathercraft business and really narrow it down and give you some firm things that you can start building on. And then we can look at the different aspects of it, of exactly which product line do we want to narrow in on. What do we want to charge? How do we want to market? All these sorts of things. Where do I source my stuff? Best equipment to have. All that things can really narrow in after you get that firm base of what it is we're doing. So I want to do a quick recap here, and then we're going to get to our live Q&A so we can do our little giveaway here. Love giving away things. But 3 things to consider when starting your leathercraft business or as you're running your leathercraft business. Number 1, why are you starting the business? Question number 2, what clientele do you want to serve? Who is your client? What do they want or need? Number 3, do you have intentions of doing just custom items, stock items, or a combination of both? What is your ideal world? And that's where some of your other answers are going to start helping answer some of those too. You know, if you're wanting freedom of schedule, well, what's my schedule look like if I build a bunch of items up and then have those to sell versus somebody calls and I need to get this thing made and turned around. So lots of different pieces that we can put together as we move forward with this series. But if you're getting value out of this, or if you just feel like a stirring, hey, there's some things that I need to answer for my own business that I haven't answered yet, and these have got you thinking, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. But hitting that like is quick and easy for you to do, but it really helps out when it lets YouTube know that we're doing some quality stuff here that is helping you guys out. So I'm gonna reach over here. We're gonna try to get to this Q&A. So I wanna see, what questions do you guys have for me on the business side? I am going to figure out here on one of these devices where I can see we're gonna try to get to where I can see these questions and make sure we can get those answered for you. You have to bear with me as this is the first live that I'm trying to read questions on. Gotta figure out the best idea on, here we go, what devices we need where I can read everything at. Okay, and be sure those links in there as well. There's links to S&D for shirts, and then there's links for Weaver leather. You can use a discount there. You can, oh, thought we lost you. Thought I lost you. Okay. We have a link to Weaver leather. You can use promo code JOE10, save 10% there. Again, with the S&D, you can use promo code 23plus and save 10% there as well. So that's pretty cool. There's a link to my business page, 23plus, if you want patterns. I have patterns and other courses on there that you can get that help kind of give you some resources for your business. And then oh, it's not giving me the comments here. I'll have to scroll back through on here. Oh, there we go. Now we're going to see it. And then there's also a link for the classroom on there, the Leather Life Classroom. If you want to check out that subscription class that I talked about earlier, there's a link for that in the description here as well. So let's see. I'm going to kind of scroll through some questions on here. We're not going to get to all of them, I know, but I'm going to try to reach some of these here. Okay, Randy, the best way if you cannot make it to the stores, how do you order online? That's a good question too. You know, most places that you're getting, take advantage of their return policy. If you get something that you don't like, you can return that. Most of them may cost just a little shipping, but you can get that back. Talking to other makers, word of mouth is going to be great on which leathers, which products are going to be best to get as well. Okay, Tyler, great question here. How far ahead do you allow for deadline orders to be placed? Well, that depends on your workload, and that depends on what you want your business to look like. Now, for me, I find it's best to tell people I'm booked out. I book myself plenty of time, because you don't want to get kind of under the gun and get to where you can't deliver something when you say you're going to deliver, or rush yourself and do a poor job because you're trying to get it out at a certain time. So I recommend giving yourself plenty of time. Now for you, maybe that's, hey, I don't have any orders on my books. Somebody calls today, I can ship in 3 days. That's going to vary depending on your speed and availability. But whatever time you think it's going to take, I would add some more to that, because something's going to come up, right? Things to consider when how much lead time to give could be shipping allowance for sure. Make sure somebody knows how long that shipping's going to take. How much product do you have on hand? Do you have plenty of leather on hand? Do you have plenty of hardware on hand? Or are you going to have to wait and get your order in, then order your leather, your hardware and things, get those in, build, and then ship out? So lots of different factors there. But if I'm looking at my calendar and I think, hey, I'm going to be 3 weeks out, I can get this done, I'm going to probably tell my customer 4 weeks. I'm going to add more time to that. And that comes back to that, under promise and over deliver. I've never once had a customer be upset with me because I got their order done too soon. I mean, anytime that you can call ahead of time, like, hey, John, just want to let you know I have your product ready to ship. I know I told you that was going to be the beginning of next month, but hey, I got freed up and was able to get this done to you. If you need to wait on the bounce, no worries. Just let me know when you're ready, but I want to let you know this is here, ready to ship whenever you're ready for it. And everybody's usually so excited because you're on the ball and have it early. So exactly how much time is going to vary depending on your situation. So good question there. Taylor, do you have a lot of return or regular customers? Yes, return customers are a huge thing. That's putting out a good product and not just the product, but again, that whole experience, really serving your customer, can lead to not only return business from them, but also referral business from them. So they tell lots of other people about you and their experience with you. So that can build for sure over time. Sav, are you going to be doing any videos on drawing your own patterns? Yeah, I'll be mixing in some more of the free content on there as well. I do have a drawing course that, as far as for floral drawing patterns, and that's on my website. So the 23 Plus site, if you go to there, you can find a link to the courses, and there's a full course that is just on drawing. That's the fundamentals of drawing floral patterns, and that's going to walk you through start to finish, square one on all of that stuff. So that might be something you could be interested in. But if you're not wanting to do the full paid for course and looking for more of some of the free content here, be sure and subscribe and stay tuned. I'm going to be mixing in some more of the drawing videos as well as we go too. Clown 214, courses are worth the money. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Okay, Miss Connie, how did you get the word out on your products as you were just starting your business? That's going to be a huge thing. Being honest and open with people is going to be big as well. Not necessarily trying to seem bigger, like a bigger company than you are. I think especially in our current times, people really value small business, and they can appreciate that. The small businesses, that's been the American dream, and I believe it's still alive and well and growing. And I think people support that. If you look at there's lots of statistics on it, and I hate to quote anything right now because I'll be off on my numbers, but a huge majority of the business in America is small business. And even the small businesses might not look the same as a one artisan craftsman type of business. Another small business might be the auto parts store down the road. That auto parts store, even though you might think of that as a bigger business, that's a small business, and that might be a family-owned thing. And those people appreciate the small business that you're in too. So being upfront and honest about that. Social media is huge. Social media is a great place. Facebook, Instagram are great things as far as showing your products out there, getting good pictures of your products. And that's taking the time. Now, you don't have to have full, big, fancy light set up. I've just recently invested in these lights that I have here, mainly for doing these videos to be able to increase the quality for you guys here. But you can get small little work light and place those around, but get good lighting, good photos of your work, which most phones today have a great camera on there. All the pictures and video, with the exception of anything that I've had McFarland Productions do. She's done a couple promo videos for me, but with the exception of those, everything is shot primarily on my iPhone. So taking the time and really getting those good pictures can be a great thing. YouTube is an awesome resource for learning that tech side too. Type in, hey, how to take good product pictures with your iPhone. You're going to have so many videos come up, it's not even funny, with free stuff, little tips and tricks, different editing apps that are super easy to walk through and use. So learning some of that side and actually putting in the effort to the marketing side. And that's the thing when we talk about a leathercraft business, it's not just a matter of making leather products. And because there's a lot of people that are super talented, a lot of people that are super artistic and crafty and do a great job and really put in the work and learn how to build the product. But when you talk about running a business, that product is a very small part of the entire business. And that's why this series, I think, is going to be so valuable, because I know there's so much stuff that I've learned along the way, and I've had to really dive into it. I don't claim to be the best leather worker. I don't claim to be the best business entrepreneur or anything like that, but I'm willing to work and try to figure it out, and I'm willing to fail. That's the biggest key, I think, too, is being willing to fail. If you hesitate because you don't want to mess up, you don't want to fail, you don't want to screw things up, and what if it doesn't work? Well, what if it does though? What if it does work? And failure is just something that happens when you quit. Failure is when you stop. But man, around our house, I'm adamant on it. You win or you learn. And it's not failing or losing or anything like that. You're learning. And the more that you quote unquote fail, the more you can learn, that's the quicker and higher that you can rise as well. So so learning all these different aspects has been huge, and that's one thing that I've been pushing for and trying to build is the business side of this. YouTube has been a great resource for me. I learned so much on here. Like now I feel like I can give back some content to YouTube, but I have learned so much on here on the business side of things, on the media side as far as camera, lights, audio, that sort of stuff. Some of you guys that have watched my earlier videos, if you go back on the channel and check out some of the early videos on here, and if you're on our Facebook page and go way back on the 23 plus page, there is some very poor quality video, lighting, audio, all that stuff. So just the media side I've had to learn on. And then from there, the business stuff, the marketing, the tracking orders, the accounting, the dealing with the customers and all that. That's been the spot that I've been really working to push to learn to better myself in. And that's what I want to pull together here for you in this series, is bring these different ideas and just bring them to light. I'm not saying I have all the answers to them by any means, but I can help bring some things up and let you know that you will run into this down the road as you go. And hopefully that'll help you in the future there too. But I went on kind of a tangent there. I believe, Connie, it was your question that was on, but how to get your stuff out there. The social media thing is really probably big key there. And depending on your situation, maybe you can, if you're doing something where you're building some products up and having items on hand to sell, then you can look at maybe some different craft bazaars or things like that. But right now, a lot of that's shut down anyhow. So posting that on social media is really a great thing. But also realizing that you're not just posting one time. It takes repetition, and you don't feel like you're overdoing it. And we can do a whole social media episode too. But it takes repetition, and people constantly seeing that. They're not going to buy first time right off the bat when they see stuff. A lot of times that's going to take a little bit of seeing it over and over again. Okay. All right, looking at our time here, it looks like we got time for a few more questions here. Okay, what was your most successful marketing method when you first started, and would you go the same route today? Chris, that's a great question too. The most successful is probably one thing that really launched my business is I started doing, or not that launched it, but one thing that catapulted there for a little bit is I did some live auctions. Anybody around for the purse auctions back in the day when we did those? We did some purse auctions, and we also did a couple auctions where we just had random items too. But we had the storefront downtown. We did that, and that seemed to get a little bit of a buzz going. And honestly, I don't think it was necessarily the auction format that boosted that. Now this is a really key thing here, because when I first look at that, Leanne, you saw some of the auctions, yeah. When I first look at the idea of, man, those auctions have gone really well, that's what's boosting the business. It wasn't necessarily the auction itself. It was the consistency in the auction. It was the consistency in not just that I was doing them every week for a while, but then I was also putting out content about the auction coming up. There was content saying, hey, this is coming up. We're going to be live. We're doing this. This item's up for auction. There's another item up. Check these out in the auction. And then After the auction, these items sold. Thanks for being in the auction. Look what sold. Another one out to a happy customer. Those items there. So just the idea that we were doing the auction pushed me out of my comfort zone to post more consistently, and try to engage more with the audience, with my clientele. And that consistency in that content for that period of time was probably when I first noticed that big kickstart. I think that the big one that really comes to my mind, but it was not in the auction itself. It was in the consistency. And that's, I think sometimes what answers, the first answer isn't always the actual answer. You know, it kind of, you got to dig into something a little bit more. It's not just what worked, but why did it work? And figuring out, just like us figuring out the why you're doing your business, that figuring out the why can really help you build success on that, using it in the future as too. Okay, let's see. Let me scroll back through. I know I've missed quite a few. I've missed a lot of these. Looks like we've got a ton of great questions coming in here. And when we get done here, I'm going to go back through and kind of read over some of these. And a lot of your questions here are going to help guide where these episodes are going as well. What do you guys think? Do you guys think, should we do some more episodes? Is this series going to be a good? Do you guys see value in this series? Let me know there too. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and just give me a big yes in the comments if you're finding value and we need to do more of these. I'm gonna, as you guys are hitting me with the yeses, I'm gonna move on up here and see. It looks like we got time for one, maybe two more questions here. And we're gonna have to give this away, this 23 plus apparel from S&D Design Co. Okay, lots of yeses. I love it. Appreciate you guys. Does client depend on product or product depend on? Audra L. Such a great two great questions right in a row here. One, just Leanne, this is a quick answer here, but Leanne asked from Australia, did you do any small business courses at all? No, not official courses, like as far as me taking courses. I've done a lot of self-teaching through YouTube, and learned a lot of different stuff along the way. No official courses, but constantly trying to better myself. A lot of personal development, different books, audio books, and YouTube has really pushed me along the way. And in the future, I'll try to share some more resources there. We talked right off the bat that Start With Why from Simon Sinek. There's a great resource and book too. But I'll try to share some more resources that I've learned from to help build me along the way too. Audra, here's a great question. I love this. Any tips on how you go about narrowing down your clientele? I'm struggling with how to do this. Cancel. Where we go? Does client depend on product, or product depend on client, or neither? Really, really good questions. Narrowing down your clientele and narrowing down your product, they're going to both kind of go hand in hand. Here's two other questions for you, Audra, to help answer this along the way. Because I think when you're asking here, how do you narrow down that clientele, and how do you narrow down, like, who is my client? what do you have a passion for? Do you have a passion for building a certain style of product or line of product, and that's where that passion is? Or is it, I really want to serve this group of people, this demographic of people, this people with these interests? And that's gonna maybe help guide you a little bit in answering that question. I have a friend that I'm going to give you a couple examples here, and these are they're friends of mine that are diligent and run their business, and they've actually narrowed down their product and or their clientele a little bit. So one guy, he niched down his clientele and what he liked to build, kind of built on his passion. So my buddy Joe, not me Joe, my buddy, somebody else, he has a Shap, the Shap Shop, Shap Shop 82 on Instagram. Check him out, does great work. He also a past bull rider. He has a passion for bull riders and the rodeo contestants, as far as your bull riders and your bronc riders, bareback riders, and building shaps. He loves building shaps. He just can't get enough building shaps. And that passion has driven both his product line and his clientele, because his product line is really primarily shaps, but then in serving that client also has a few other things that they want as well. So he'll build his clientele with the shaps, but then he gets a good shap client, and hey, I know I got my shaps, I'm riding with my shaps, I love it, my second pair from you, but man, I want to get a purse for my wife, or I really want to get a shave kit for going down the road traveling with. He'll open up and build some other products to fit that clientele, but that clientele was built around the product and the industry that he had a passion for. So that's kind of an interesting dynamic when you look at narrowing that down. And then I told you I had another buddy. His clientele is the show cattle business, and he started out as building any product. He would take on orders for anything, like a lot of us start out. And the market really narrowed his product line down for him. And he was doing any kind of product, but his kind of sphere of influence and where he was doing his marketing at, a lot of his connections from his past being in that show cattle world, they started narrowing his product line by kind of picking up on a few things that he had tried, and like the number plates that they show cattle they wear for the shows and stuff, that along with like halters, custom little halter bands for a lot of the show cattle, those have been two major products for him that have skyrocketed his business, and it came on his demographic of clientele that he was really serving, them narrowing down that product line for him. You know, the market's going to help you a little bit with that. So it'll there's a lot of ways to answer that question, Audra, but it's such a great question, and it's not, there's no one right answer to it. And I think that's the toughest thing there in trying to answer that question, is there's no one perfect right answer on that question, because it's going to vary. But I would ask you on that, as you're starting to answer this for yourself and starting to shape your business, is where does your passion lie in it? And again, maybe that passion goes back to, I don't know, I don't have a passion for a certain product or a certain demographic. I want to make the most money I can with this business because I want to have the freedom of schedule and support my family. Well, then let's look at which items are most profitable that are within your skill level, ability, and within your knowledge base. Then you can start looking at profit margin, and then, okay, I'm going to pick these high profit margin items and now market those. What's the best way to market that to build the clientele around the product that you chose because of your why back here? So see how it kind of all goes full circle there. I love looking at the big picture. I love the big picture on things, and all the little pieces go together to build that big picture. And I think that's why this series is going to wind up being pretty large. And I don't know how long this series is. That's why I called it episode 1 instead of part 1. Part 1 just seems like there's only a few in there, but episode 1 seems like it could go on a while, and I really think this could, as we start diving deeper in all the different aspects of running that business. Because again, building the product is just a small piece of the big picture, and that's where most businesses fail in the leathercraft industry, because they just focus on the one piece. They don't look at that whole picture and all these other pieces. You know, you get like a bicycle wheel and you got all the spokes. Well, if a lot of the spokes are broken, it's not going to hold up real good. That's going to be pretty wobbly. So we need to look at all the different aspects there. So Audra, that's such an awesome question. Audra, if you would send me an email, I would love to send you a shirt here. I just need to know your shipping address, but shoot me an email with your name, shipping address, all that good stuff, and type your question for me in that email, and we'll get this headed your way. So congratulations on that. Not like there were specific ramifications on the contest there, just happened to be who I picked on that. And really that question, I love that question, because it really dives into where you can go lots of different directions, and it's everything builds on and works on it on lots of different things. But it's just a great example of how it all goes back to that why, right? So these 3 things that we're considering when starting or running this business, the number 1 question was why? Why are you running this business? And that combined with who is your client, and what you're wanting to build, it all feeds back to that. You know, where is that passion? What is that why? And to answer that question, we were able to backtrack. And is that passion with a product, a client, or something else? Is it just the money thing? Again, go back to that why. So I appreciate all of you guys being on here. There's so many great questions, and I want to go back and answer all of them. But I also want to be mindful of your guys' time, of your guys' schedule. I know that depending on where you are in the world, it's maybe not just a different time of day, it's a different day. I know we're here Monday night in the United States, and we're probably 6:30 or so on the West Coast here. So it's 9:30 at night on the East Coast, and you guys over in Australia, heck, it's Tuesday right now. But I want to be mindful on these lives and try to keep them within that hour time span. We're just a little bit over right now, but I want to be respectful of your guys' time and of your guys' schedule. I appreciate you guys taking time to jump on here with me and follow along. And I don't want to ramble on for 3 hours. I can easily go on lots of different tangents, especially with these great questions. But I want you guys to be able to get on with your night as well, or with your day, and not have to worry about when we jump on here live, oh man, how long is that going to take? I'm going to try to keep these within an hour or less. Some might go way less, but I'm not going to let them go much longer than what we have right here. And I just seen somebody ask, how often are we going to have these? I'm not 1,000% sure on this, whether this is going to be an every week thing, maybe a twice a week or a twice a month thing. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys have the patience to listen to me once a week on this? If we did this Monday nights, let me know. This is free content out here for you guys, and my goal is to help you build your skills and your business at the same time. So how can I help serve you the best? Is once a week good? Are you guys up for once a week, or should we just want to keep these down a little bit? Same time if possible. Yeah, once a week, every other week. Okay, I'm gonna get this dialed in, and I'll let you know for sure exactly kind of what that schedule is gonna be. But yeah, as long as I don't get burned out, there you go. And there'll be times when we may have to take a break. We may skip a week or something like that, just because of schedule. Freedom of schedule is one of the reasons I really love my business. I work at different times, but sometimes it's because I'm gone working on a bull riding or different things like that. We do rodeo Bible camps and whatnot. So there may be times when I just can't do an episode and we'll skip to the next week. But I'll announce for sure. But it's looking by the kind of quick response here that we might be able to do a weekly thing. I do want to try to get it narrowed down where we're on kind of a consistent time whenever we choose to do that, and the time period that it stays consistent. Again, being respectful of your guys' time, I want you to be able to schedule out and kind of know when to expect that, whether you want to be on here live with us or just catch it on the replay. But thank you guys so much for following along with here. Again, if you find value in this at all, hit the like button for me. That does me favors by letting YouTube know that I'm putting out content that is helpful for you guys. And yes, Connie, you can definitely catch the replay. This video is going to remain up on my YouTube channel here, and I believe I can even put the live videos in a playlist. So I'm going to probably build a playlist on here that has all these episodes in there as we go along there. And don't forget to check the description for your links and resources there. Our big winner, Audra, be sure to email me with your info. We can get you this shirt. This is from S&D Design Co. Link to their website in the description there, and you can use promo code 23plus to save 10% on anything on their site. So check out. She's got some awesome stuff on there. She just released 4 new designs on there too. They're super cool. Really kind of encouraging words in there to help going into this next year. So I encourage you to check that out. Also, our Facebook page and Instagram as well. So shoot on over there, give them likes on those business pages, and then the other discount code in the description is going to be for Weaver Leather Supply. Yes, Connie, that S&D is going to be snddesignco.com. That link's right there in the description. She's got not just these, but all the specialty patterns that I do, the tooling patterns. Those are on shirts as well. And then she has her other own designs, and they're really cool as well. So be sure to jump over and check that out. She's got some great stuff going on over there. Weaver Leather Supply, there's a link in the description for leather tools, products, that sort of thing. You can save 10% with Weaver if you already have a wholesale account with them. You have a big enough business where you've been able to apply for that. We might talk about that another one in a sourcing episode. But if you don't have a business account with them, you can use promo code Joe10 and that'll save you 10% from Weaver there as well. So that's a source you guys can use. And then the two other links are going to be the 23 plus is to my website that has the patterns and the tooling course and drawing course. My pattern books, pattern packs, all that's on the website there. And then the online subscription-based class that we talked about, the Leather Life Classroom, that's a separate link where you can check that out and get subscribed and join me there if you want to as well. That's up and running, and January's projects is ready for you and waiting. So I appreciate you guys being on here. I will be posting as soon as I have the schedule for when we're going to be doing these episodes, but I can't wait to see you guys for episode 2 of the Leathercraft Business Builders episode here. I think this is going to be an awesome series, and you guys have made it so worth it jumping on here and joining me, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you for that. So take care. We will see you guys in the next episode.